Coming up on Kudlow Report, you think you pay too much in taxes? Well, that's only half the story. The Center for Freedom and Prosperity has produced this video, currently making the rounds on the internet, showing how just doing taxes is a giant waste of time and money. We're going to break down the cost of tax compliance with the star of that clip when we come back. And you heard Senator Dodd 2011 and maybe beyond. So let me switch back to the tax theme. The Center for Freedom and Prosperity has produced a YouTube video. It outlines the staggering costs in time and money that we all spend complying with this outrageously complicated tax code every year. Here now to break it all down for us is the student featured in the video, Hiwa, and if I have that right, economics student at the College of William and Mary. She is a former Cato Institute intern. Hiwa, I hope I pronounced your name reasonably close. Thank you for coming on the show. You wrote a brilliant article here on this YouTube thing. What is up with these compliance costs? This may be the single worst part of the tax code.
Thank you for having me on the show, Larry. I don't know if I would agree that it's the worst part in the tax code, because I think our tax code has a ton of problems, but it's definitely very alarming. The tax code is just complying with the tax code this year is going to cost us $338 billion, estimates the Tax Foundation. The IRS themselves admit that it's going to take about 7.6 million hours for Americans to just figure out how to file their taxes. I mean, this is a huge waste of resources for us.
$338 billion, 7.6 million man hours. Now, do you think, Hiwa, we could spend that money more wisely, more productively to create wealth and jobs?
Absolutely. I mean, this is just a huge waste of resources. And the important thing to note here is that this isn't the fault of the IRS. It's the fault of the politicians for having such a bad tax code.
This is because what? They write in all these special preferences, subsidies, credits, deductions, exemptions. It's kind of a K Street, right? K Street lobbying political effort. Is that what you're driving at?
Absolutely. And this just calls for tax reform. There's been studies that a flat tax would reduce compliance costs by 94%. I mean, that's the direction in which we should be moving.
So what about fixing this thing? Is it fixable? I mean, suppose I could devise a system that got rid of all this complexity. Is such a thing possible, or do I just need to scrap the code and start over again?
I think we just need to scrap the code and enact a new policy, a new tax code that's flat, where income is taxed one time and there are no special loopholes.
Do you think that this is the single thing Americans hate most about it? That they have to spend so much time. I mean, TurboTax, then you have to go to accountants to interpret TurboTax, all the hours and money you spend wasted. I mean, to me, this is probably, I know the level of tax rate is probably too high, federal, state, and local. That's an easy one. But I think this is the part that Americans hate the most.
Absolutely, and rightfully so. It's a huge waste of resources. It's a huge waste of time and money.
Now, you're down there at William and Mary College, okay? I cannot resist. My wife, my bride of 23 years, is a graduate of William and Mary College. So when you make this argument down there in class, how are the professors? Do they understand what you're talking about, or have you already passed them?
I don't know that I would say that I've passed any of my professors, but I do not currently take any classes that heavily focus on tax code. I'll put it like that.
All right. So what are you going to do next year when you graduate?
I don't know yet, actually.
You're going to go.
I'm currently looking for jobs.
What are you going to do? You want to be a tax analyst? Do you want to be an economist? Do you want to go to graduate school? Do you want to run for office? Do you want to be a Tea Partier? What do you want to do?
I want to join the fight for liberty.
The fight for liberty. I like that. All right. Hiwa, I think I got that right. College of William and Mary, former intern to our great friend Dan Mitchell. And the complexity, $338 billion of wasted money a year, 7.6 million hours. What a waste. Thank you, Hiwa. You're terrific.
Thank you.
Coming up on the